Hello and welcome. You're watching We the People. I'm Sarah Jacob. This week, the Karnataka High Court will hear on the 8th of February the writ petition filed by a Muslim girl student challenging the action of a college that prevented Muslim students who are wearing headscarves to attend their classes. The development comes after weeks of protests by 6 teenage students at a government-run pre-university college that is really equivalent to a high school in Karnataka's Udupi. The protesters have been barred from attending classes by the college's management, who says that the students can wear the headscarf on campus, but they must remove it inside the classroom. Now, this matter has since escalated now to other colleges, and this weekend we saw a very worrying sight of students, both boys and girls, wearing saffron scarves now and marching up and down the streets. The question we're asking tonight is, can educational institutions impose a strict dress code that could interfere with the rights of students to get an education? Constitutionally speaking, is this an open and shut case of a right to an education and a right to religious freedom? Or is it another case of Islamophobia, singling out girls in a hijab? Well, first, joining us now are the girls at the center of this controversy, fighting for an education irrespective of what they are wearing, they say. Thank you both for joining us. You're very brave. You're at the enclosure of all eyes, but all of you protesting students have not backed down. But take us through first what happened. When did this become a problem?
On the first day of college, we have been wearing this hijab. It's from so long time we are wearing this hijab. There is nothing like we are wearing from yesterday, day before yesterday, last month, last year. No, we are wearing from so long time. And on Thursday, I think on February 4th, Thursday, regularly we are on the way to college. And while going college, we have been wearing our full hijab, this parda, and we have a girls' room called as restroom. So we can keep our abaya over there, not this headscarf. We can keep our abaya over there and we can go to our classes. While wearing hijab, we got a news. Our lecturers had came to our restroom. They are like, you people are not allowed to go classes if you people wear hijab. And the lecturers had said that we got a news from government that no students are allowed to go for the classes if they follow their religion, culture rules. And we have discussed with our lecturers, and even they discussed with us. And later we said we wanted to speak with our principal, and we had a meeting with principal. And principal had said the same thing. The rule had come from the government, and we are helpless. And we asked, okay, sir, the rule had come from the government, and this is the private college. This is not the government college. And when we asked for the commercial letter from the principal, our principal did not respond anything. He just neglected our questions, what we asked with him. He just did not respond us very nicely. It's like we have a right to ask the questions for the principal. Whatever happens, it's our duty to go near principal and to ask help. And our principal's answer was like, no, we are helpless. Whenever what happens, if we are in college, the first thing we should do is we should go near the principal. And our principal did not help us. And his answer was like, I'm helpless.
All right. So you're saying that you were told that this was a decision taken by the government, the school, your teachers, your lecturers, your principal were helpless in this situation. Do you believe that you girls are being made a pawn in the politics of the state?
Actually, it's a fundamental rights. Even Article 14 says that right to equality, right to practice for every religion. Everything states in fundamental rights. Being an Indian, Why can't we follow the fundamental rights?
Okay, so you are pointing out that yes, we have a fundamental right to wear what one wants, but what would you say to those who say, you know, keep religion out of the classroom? Because now we're seeing students parading saffron shawls. Where does this end? How do you feel, meanwhile, you know, how do you feel when your classmates wear these saffron robes? They're trying to prove a point to you. These are classmates, these are friends. I'm assuming you've all grown up together over the years in the same neighborhood. You share a classroom.
Actually, it's their culture and wearing hijab is our culture. We have no problem wearing the saffron shawl, nothing. They respect their shawl and we respect our hijab. We come to the college. We come to the college by thinking that we'll communicate, we'll get a friendship, everything. When the friends are not with us, when they feel like our friends are against with us, it's horrible, ma'am. It's very difficult to take all this. Like sometimes students will be there, those who don't have parents or else siblings. They'll come to college by thinking that when they communicate with their friends, they'll be getting all kinds of love, everything. But when we got to know that our friends is opposing, like our friends are against us, it's very difficult to take us. And we come to the college to learn discipline, to learn how to behave with society, everything. But we are not getting from our college. They're just not following everything. We are coming by thinking that we'll get educated. Like we won't come college for only for education or else for something like talent, nothing. Like we'll come for everything. We need discipline, we need education. But when we don't get the discipline from our principal, and it's very difficult to live in this society. It's very difficult to live in this society.
That boy started from 2 days for wearing saffron shawl. They started from 2 days, and we were wearing from very long time.
All right, so thank you. It's clearly a difficult issue for you to speak about when, as you put it, friends turn against each other. Who's responsible for this? Is this hijab row an assault on the right to choice? Is the education of these girls becoming victim to politics today? Is the right to wear a hijab and the right to an education constitutionally protected? Well, let's bring in PKD Nambiar. He's a political analyst who supports the BJP. Sanjay Jha, a political analyst and author, formerly with the Congress. Saira Shah Halim, a writer and an activist. PKD Nambiar, first to you, what happened to Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao? You have now the reactions of the BJP MPs and BJP authorities in the state saying things like, you know, go study in a madarsa. If the BJP is truly interested in the rights of these girls and, you know, them breaking away from patriarchal norms, surely this should be challenged constitutionally. Why prevent young girls from attending school in a year where India has already been badly hit in the field of education?
Sarah, we are discussing this in 2022, and wherein the Saudi woman, which is considered to be a very Qatar Muslim world, and in Taliban, where the women of those countries are fighting that they don't want it to be under burqa, they wanted to have a freedom from burqa. Here in Udupi, which is just 150 kilometers from my house where I was born, in the Malabar coast, these people are wanted to go and wanted to wear a hijab and a burqa, and there is a complete change in that the Malabar coast, which I have been talking about it at least almost 10 years. From Malappuram to the Konkan region, the culture, the social, cultural, religious fabric has completely changed. You also need to understand that this is the same belt where the maximum number of people have been recruited for ISIS or people who had fought. So the change, when I have grown up, 20 years of my life I had spent there, I've studied all my colleges, I had so many Muslim brothers and sisters who were my classmates, almost 30 to 35% of them. I have never seen in my childhood, I mean, I'm not talking about something like about 100 years ago, it's just about 20, 25 years ago. Hardly people used to wear any burqa or even for that matter hijab. The maximum some girls, what they used to do is that a little bit of a shawl. What we see here even in the Hindus, some of the Hindu people in the Punjab or in this northern belt. So there is a huge amount of religious fundamental people which are predominantly supported by PFI, and the PFI movement is happening there. They are the people who are doing it. Schools are not the place where you need to wear the religion on your sleeves. School is a place where why we call it even a uniform. So I think it's purely motivated. Unfortunately, these kids are, I mean, if I was listening to those young minds who were talking about the religion, why it's their right, fundamental rights to wear. The fundamental rights to wear, who is stopping you to wear a burqa outside the school or college? You go to a masjid, you go onto the market wearing everything.
Wouldn't the best way to get these girls to throw off their burqa, whether if it is a gungat amongst Hindu women, would be to educate them? Surely not take away an education from them. But let's go across to Sanjay Jha first. Okay, PKD Nambiar, I'll come back to you. Can we just reconnect Mr. Nambiar's connection, because we seem to be losing it. I'll come back to you, Mr. Nambiar. Sanjay Jha, this particular row is unfolding in Udupi. It's one of those 3 districts in Karnataka's communally sensitive coastal belt. It's a stronghold of the BJP. Some would describe this region as a laboratory for majoritarian Hindu politics. Why do you see this playing out here now? And I mean, why now? These girls say they've been wearing this to school for years.
Sarah, let's cut to the chase right away. There are elections coming up in Karnataka next year. And everyone who follows Karnataka politics will tell you that in coastal Karnataka, there is a massive degree of infiltration of the aggressive Hindutva campaign. In fact, there are books written on it. And, if for example, the chief minister of a state can wear saffron robes, then I really see no objection with some girls wearing hijab in a school. Honestly, I think it's a preposterous comparison. The simple thing that we need to keep in mind is this, that, end of day, these were students who were abruptly told that they can't wear hijab. And from my understanding, I know this issue is coming up in the courts on Tuesday. It's a fundamental right of an individual to have their practicing religion. I think if someone wears hijab, is it a public disorder? Is it trying to actually create some degree of tension in society? I don't think so. It's a private religious practice. It's absolutely got no obstruction in it. It's a very personal decision that an individual makes. So clearly, Sarah, let me tell you in brutal honesty, we have seen since 2014 a progressive majoritarian sentiment being forced in our society. I think the young boys who wore saffron robes, trust me, they are being backed by a very organized conspiracy. I don't think those young students decided to do it on their own, of their own volition.
Of course, you can.
We live in the world of love jihad.
Mass-produced, completely identical, brand new saffron robes.
Absolutely. So this is love jihad, ghar wapsi, anti-Romeo squads, beef bands, you name it. See, when you have a chief minister saying 80-20, the prime minister talking about dog whistle politics, I can see who are the arsonists by the colors of their clothes. I mean, we all know it. I think it's time to bite the bullet. The government at the center and the government in Karnataka are led by the BJP, and the BJP will try and polarize it, because that for them is a very astute political strategy for electoral gains. Simple as that.
Do we have PKD Nambiar? Meanwhile, let me just give us the latest latest on this case yesterday with the hijab controversy raging in Karnataka. The state government on Saturday, that's the 5th of February, ordered the banning of wearing clothes which disturb equality, integrity and public order in schools and colleges. We have that graphics, we can play that up, invoking 133(2) of the Karnataka Education Act, which says that a uniform style of clothes has to be worn compulsorily. So the government reiterating, you have to have a uniform, it has to be a uniform uniform style of clothes. It then says that the private school administration can choose a uniform of their choice. That is what the government order says. Do we have PKD Nambiar meanwhile? Okay. Saira Shah, if you could come in over here. The college principal alleges that these women, now they may be down to half a dozen, are deliberately creating problems because the rest of the students there, around 70 of them, have no objections to this rule.
Good evening, Sarah. See, firstly, a personal liberty and right to education, they're legal rights. And now it's unfortunate that these girls have been debarred from entering their varsity, and it chillingly reminds us of Nazi Germany in 1938, where Jewish students were not allowed to enter the University of Vienna. And in a democracy, we do not shut the gates of education, of learning, and especially to the most deprived sections. So today, when you talk about women empowerment, and today, if you talk about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and you say you stand by the Muslim women, would you use the hijab as a pretext from debarring women from studying? I think it is very sad and unfortunately, and it definitely stinks of a political motive. And as Mr. Jha just mentioned, that elections are around the corner, so they need to, kind of keep the communal cauldron, burning. And it should not happen because, firstly, it is a fundamental right to education. And the exams are just 2 months away. And the girls are pleading with the authorities. They are asking them. And we need to also understand that it's not about burqa or hijab. It's right to agency.
Or ghungat.
Or ghungat. Today, if a Sikh student, can enter the class and study, of course, I mean, he would look like a practicing Sikh. But it doesn't mean that you discriminate against that student. So similarly, if I as a Muslim woman don't, it's my agency whether I wear the hijab or not. Similarly, you need to give agency to those girls who choose to wear the hijab and yet they want to get educated. So I don't understand where is the dichotomy. They want to wear the hijab, yet they want to be progressive. They want to go to an inclusive school. And I don't think that the people there, the authorities, should deny anybody the right to education, whether they're wearing hijab or whether they're wearing a turban.
What takes priority? Right to an education first. If these girls want an education, can we deny it to them because of what they are wearing? PKD Nambiar, we have you back on. Hopefully the line will be better. I don't know if you heard what we were talking about. The question is, Mr. Nambiar, how did all these students get identical, brand new, clearly customized saffron stoles? It has been given to them en masse by somebody. Who is that who has given all of these students these identical scarves? Is this not an attempt to intimidate, to harass and to exclude?
Unfortunately, this is what is happening. So I think this is very, very unfortunate whether the students are now becoming a part of a political process of people who wanted to score points, whether it is in any part. But the most important and the most dangerous part of that, it is all completely funded by or promoted by PFI and all those people, and everybody knows that.
Even provided these saffron scarves?
I am talking about the hijab issue. Why are we just missing that bus? What we are talking about is that is our schools required to be the place where you are wanted to showcase your religious sentiments or religious colors or religion to be practiced? There are temples, masjids, churches. I have never seen, I have been a part of NDTV shows from at least 4 years now. I have never seen anybody who is wearing a burqa and doing an anchoring. I have always seen people have a dress code of wearing and doing an anchoring. So yes, in every place.
Here, NDTV, it is completely your personal choice. I can choose to wear a cross if I feel like or not, and other anchors can choose to wear. They have complete freedom and independence over what they choose to wear.
See, Sarah, one thing you need to understand, if you really wanted to, and this is something which I've been hearing for the last few days, that the Sikhs are allowed. Please note the art, there is in Constitution had given, Article 25B had given a special privileges for the Sikh community in India. In fact, it is not only for that, even for wearing them, not to wear even a helmet while using the mobile bikes. So I think we are not clubbing. What we need to understand today, the people, like many people who are supposed to be trying to become the most liberal, most modern, and the same people now are supporting hijab and parda and burqa, which is absolutely something like a very draconian old mindset. Today's generation, 2022, we want
Do
our
you see a dichotomy there?
and going and wearing.
Okay, okay. Saira Shah, do you see a dichotomy there?
Yes, see, we are not here. I might be liberal, I might be secular, but I'm no way encouraging burqa or hijab or saffron robes. All I'm saying is agency.
Yes.
A girl should have agency to choose, and that is being denied. Article 25 clearly says freedom of thought, freedom of conscience. So am I missing out on something? Especially here on such petty grounds, if you're not allowing girl students to enter the varsity when it's just 2 months ahead of education.
Yes, you made that point. So the point here is what happens if parents prevent girls from going to school unless they're in a hijab. These are teenagers, remember. They live with their parents, they live under their parents' roof. If the parent says you cannot go to school until and unless you're wearing a hijab, the school then prevents the girls from coming in without a hijab. Who stands to lose? Is it India overall? If we don't have, our girl child being educated. I want to bring in KP Fatima Shireen. She's the National Committee member on the campus front. Fatima Shireen, what is your stand on this matter? What is your understanding of the situation on the ground?
This is a PFI. PFI. You are giving them a platform.
One thing. This is my time, I believe.
Mr. Nambiar, you've had a platform, you've spoken for 20 minutes. Surely all sides views can be heard and shared.
Okay. So, what I want to tell you is, the controversy started in one college, but it very speedy spread into several colleges. Now, students of young age, hundreds and hundreds of students are coming forward wearing saffron shawls and chanting Jai Shri Ram to call of the constitutional right of their fellow students, their classmates. See, what I want to tell you is, these young students that we believe would be the leaders of this nation are so much influenced with this Hindutva right-wing ideology.
On both sides, it's horrible that it has descended into such a situation. But Fatima Shireen, what would you say to the authorities? The principal of the college has said that, it's just 6 students or so now, when many others, the other Muslim girls, have taken off the hijab, because in class you don't have to wear it, you can wear it outside on campus.
Whether it is one person or 100% or a bench of persons, if a citizen of this nation claims that my rights, my constitutional right is violated, we are responsible to address that. We are responsible to find a solution to that. That is how I believe. So this is a clear violation of constitutional rights. Even now also we can see that students who wear pardas put outside the gates. You see that?
Fair enough. I want to just clarify one thing with you. This college instruction manual says that girl students can wear the scarf inside the campus, but the scarf has to match one's dupatta?
Yes.
It says so.
Yes, it says so. But these students are kept outside the campus gates. But now the students who wear the saffron shall go inside the campus. See, we are known that Constitution prevent us from discriminating people in the basis of religion, caste, or any other matter.
Sanjay Jha, where do you stand? Last quick 30 seconds to you. Where do you stand on this matter? Of course, yes, at one point we're saying young students, minds that are still being formed, are being, horribly communalized. Or do you see this is an age-old debate? Or do you see students being active in, campus politics and aware of their rights, clearly as these young students are?
Well, Sarah, let's bite the bullet here. This tells you how vicious and vulgar and violent Indian political ecosystem is.
I agree.
I was hearing 3 young girls on your show at a time when they should be thinking about their exams, their career and their life. They have to come on television and express their anguish, not just on their behalf, but on behalf of many of their other friends and family members. These are tragic commentary on the way we have become as a society. And I would like to tell one thing, Sarah, with your permission, to Mr. Nambiar, since he takes since he's apparently very deeply hurt by the fact that girls are wearing hijab in the schools, I hope he was equally appalled and aghast, and if not completely disgusted, at what happened in Haridwar and Jantar Mantar, when people called for the genocide of Muslims and our government turned a blind eye. That's what worries me, Mr. Nambiar.
Okay, since you've mentioned Mr. Nambiar, quick 30 seconds. I already explained we're out of time. Quick response, and then we have to wind up.
I think any kind of a hate, whether it is 1984 or Haridwar or for that matter, everything is condemnable, and I don't support any hate. For your information, Sanjay ji, for your information, Sanjay ji, you need to understand the belt which we are.
To mention 2002 for some reason.
The place where this is all happening.
I agree on one thing, especially the girl child, Muslim girl students need active support, active schemes to help them join the mainstream in greater numbers, to be educated in greater numbers. Our Prime Minister has spoken about this in his various speeches. Now let's walk the talk. Discriminating against any student, a girl student, a Muslim girl student, will only affect India's success in getting more educated as a whole. Thank you all for joining us. This is not the last we've heard on this matter. It's coming up in the High Court on Tuesday. We will be bringing you all the details. Thank you for joining us on We the People. For now, bye-bye.